The Winnebago Man is a 2009 American documentary film directed by Ben Steinbauer. The film follows the internet phenomenon created by a series of more than 20-year-old outtakes from a Winnebago sales video featuring profane outbursts from a salesperson named Jack Rebney. Originally intended as an inside joke, the video spread across the globe, first on VHS and then on YouTube and other online video sites, earning the salesman the title of the angriest man in the world. The documentary explores the story of the clip's origins and how, several decades later, it affects the reluctant star, Jack Rebney. One of the aspects that I really love about this documentary since I discovered it back in about 2011-2012 is that how it humanizes Jack Rebney for the fact that here his life has really been turned upside down due to the fact that this video became wildly circulated early on in YouTube and on other websites. It is one of those early YouTube videos where you would have outtakes or those types of videos where people would have an accident or be stupid or humiliate themselves and they would just soon go viral. And instead of being helpful to the people, usually people would try their best to distance themselves any way possible from the source material. In the documentary, there's actually a really great scene where the director talks about the Star Wars kid who was a high school student in Quebec who made a video that he didn't realize was going to be discovered by his other students, and he was ridiculed for this video, and he went into hiding because of the fact that it made his life absolutely miserable. He had to actually check into a psychiatric ward, and it was one of those videos that did not help improve his life whatsoever. And in this case with the Winnebago Man with Jack Rebney, it really didn't do him any favors whatsoever. In this documentary though, Ben Steinbauer's obsession is with this widely circulated viral video as he tries to find the individual Jack Rebney, and through dumb luck and through the help of a private detective, he actually comes upon the Winnebago Man. He actually gets into contact with him, where he finds out that Jack Rebney has been living in a remote area in Northern California. When he decides to actually go visit him, he is surprised to find that Jack Rebney is a calm, congenial, and articulate person, in stark contrast to the angry, profane man in the famous videos. Rebney claims to be somewhat indifferent and amused by the video and the popularity on the internet. Steinbauer actually returns home somewhat disappointed by the fact that he didn't expect to find this type of individual. He expected to find Jack Rebney being profane and very, very angry, but soon, Rebney begins to contact Steinbauer and admits that he had not been candid in his first encounter. He was actually just putting on an act. He reveals that he has been long angry about the video and its circulation and the notoriety that has come, and is part of a reason why he has chosen to live as a hermit, somewhat secluded in Northern California. Once Steinbauer learns about this, he actually makes a return trip back to Northern California to do further interviews with him, where he finds Jack Rebney has strong political opinions and he wants to talk about his life being a journalist, and he also just wants to give his ideas about the current political state of the United States. Whereas Steinbauer interviewing him, his purpose is really to kind of bring him back into the limelight and get him before an audience of people that I guess are huge fans of his video. And this is where I find there's an interesting aspect of this documentary where Jack is trying to put out an image of an intellectual, of an intelligent person, which he is. In the documentary, there's a scene where he actually sends a copy of his book to Ben Steinbauer talking about religion and civilization and politics. And it shows he's quite an intelligent person. And also in the conversations that he has with Ben Steinbauer, you see he's very articulate. He has a great vocabulary. But it's interesting to see, in contrast, Ben Steinbauer, I feel like his motivations is to really bring him back into the limelight, to get him before an audience. In doing so, trying to make a really great documentary. And I feel there's something that I dislike about this, in the sense that he is just trying to use Jack Rebney in a way to benefit himself in making a documentary. Now, I might be completely wrong in my assessment here, but I just get this feeling that with Ben constantly inserting himself into the documentary, he wants this documentary not just being a story about Jack Remney, but also a story about himself in the process of bringing Jack Remney out from solitude in front of an audience. The other aspect of the documentary that I do love is the relationship that Jack Remney has to his friend Keith Gordon. Keith Gordon has been his longtime friend and really the one of only few people that he actually trusts and he has a really deep, great friendship with. And actually seeing how much they care for each other, their relationship, how much Jack is being helped by Keith Gordon in this documentary is so touching and so wholesome. And that's one thing I absolutely loved in this documentary, is just seeing the fact that there are people that do love him, that do care for him, even though he comes off as this grouchy old man, this very angry person, but he still has this great friendship with this wonderful human being that is Keith Gordon. Now, with Ben Steinbauer trying to interview Jack Remney, he is actually trying to make several attempts throughout the documentary of having Jack open up about his life. But Jack Remney is not really interested in that. He's more interested in talking about politics and giving really great political speeches about Bush administration and the dire state the United States is. And there's actually a scene where Jack Remney's at Walmart and he wanted to kind of give a comment before the manager of the Walmart actually comes out to tell them to get off their property before he calls the police, so they leave. And Ben is trying to convince Jack throughout the documentary that he's trying to get him a video camera to interact with his fans so that he can post videos online and have his fans talk to him and comment and communicate with him. But Jack is not really convinced by this, and he has no intention of really wanting to interact with his so-called fans, as he doesn't really have a high opinion of them. He sees the people who watch his old outtakes in such a negative way. He doesn't see them as sort of on his intellectual level. Though eventually Ben Steinbauer convinces Jack Remney to attend the Found Footage Festival in San Francisco. Their fans have lined up for a sold-out screening of the original outtakes video featuring Jack Remney. The fans describe Jack Remney's video's impact on their lives and how it has a positive impact on them. During the screening, the festival organizers invite Jack Remney on stage as a special guest, where he engages with the audience and realizes that they're pretty much on his level, and he actually is very much pleased with the type of responses he's getting from the people. After their screening, Jack Remney meets several fans who request autographs and express to him how viewing the old footage cheers them up after a hard day. And from there, Jack Remney realizes that here there's this willing audience that he can interact with who are very much love the video, and they see him in a kind of a respectful way. Jack Remney realizes that and tells his old friend Keith Gordon that he did not anticipate the fans to be as intelligent as they were. And here he has this audience in which he can actually engage with and he can talk to and interact with. And at the end of the documentary, this is really how he feels. He comes to this realization that, yeah, it's fantastic that he has this opportunity here, even though at first he never saw it as an opportunity. He wanted to distance himself away from this content, from the outtakes video. And that's what's great about the ending of this documentary, is that here he is in the fortunate state that he can actually benefit from that video instead of having his life be utterly ruined. Now, 6 to 8 years later, Ben Steinbauer did make a follow-up video where he actually went back to Jack Remney's location in Northern California, and he visited him for his 87th birthday. From then on, I don't know how much more information there is other than the video that came out on Vimeo, which I'll link in the description below. But I'm not sure if Jack Remney's still alive, as it seems that in that video his health was getting much, much worse, and he's really getting on in age. Right now he should be in his mid-90s, so I'm not even sure if he's still alive or not. The documentary, I feel, was made at a period of time in which YouTube was specifically making content in which there were people that embarrassed themselves, accident videos, and people were getting into this strange position where they were overnight celebrities. They were given their sort of 15 minutes, even less than that, of fame. And like I talked about with the Star Wars kid, a lot of times it was embarrassing for those individuals, and on other times people were able to capitalize on the situation that they had with that type of fame. And I like that in this documentary we see a different perspective on that. We see a different effect on a specific individual and how it somewhat benefited their life. I think that with today, with social media being all ever so present, the fact that people's lives are online all the time, and at any moment we could upload some sort of video of us being stupid and get absolutely millions and millions of views, and here we have to make the choice of whether or not we're going to want to distance ourselves from that kind of content, or we want to embrace it. And that's what I love about this documentary, is it talks about that kind of issue. And I feel that, once again, Ben Steinbauer, while I'm sort of questioning his motivations and I'm sort of a little bit disliking the fact that he might be exploiting Jack Remini, I think he did a good enough job of making this documentary, which I highly recommend. Jack Remini is a brilliant individual, and I appreciated a lot of his political commentary, and I'm amazed at how intelligent this guy is. What makes me sad is that he feels that his legacy is basically going to be this outtakes video, and hopefully more people will see that he is more than that, as he showed through his writings, through much of his commentary, through much of him just speaking, how intelligent, how well spoken he is of an individual, and that he has a lot to say, or had a lot to say. I'm not sure about the state of how he is now. I'm not sure if he was even alive, but I wish I had the chance to meet this individual, because he just shows that he can be more than just an angry person, that he is also a highly intelligent person who was a serious journalist, worked with reporters and worked with newscasters, and he was a very much a professional. And to me, I hope that people see that rather than just the outtakes that he is always going to be remembered for. But at least he does have a legacy in those outtakes. It's possibly on my list of best documentaries that I've ever seen. I highly recommend you guys check it out, watch it for yourself, and let me know what you guys think. All the links to the videos and other content, and also to my main channel, Samson1202, is in the link in the description below. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this review, and like always, have a wonderful day.